We now recognize the gentleman from Idaho, Mr. Labrador.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And it seems to me, and I think the comment was already made by the good gentleman from South Carolina, that in a transparency hearing, this has been one of the most opaque hearings that I've ever been a participant in. And I'm not really sure why you're here. Can you tell me why you're here? Why exactly did the administration send you? Because I have no idea what exactly you have aided this committee in doing today.
I was asked to appear in order to talk about the general issues of integrity, and in fact, I think the issues of integrity are directly relevant to the subject matter of the hearing. And I think you've seen that although I can't talk about a draft presidential document before the President makes a decision, I can certainly, and I have talked at some length about the principles that are at issue.
Okay, let's talk about those principles real quick. You told us today that the no award decision will be based on this information that's being given, that you're going to base it on the selection criteria. Is that correct?
Award decisions can only be based, according to the Competition and Contracting Act, on the selection criteria in the solicitation.
All right. So you're a law school professor. You were a law school professor. I was a law school student at one point, so this is kind of fun for me. When you gave law school exams, there was, at least in my law school, I was not able to, I never wrote down my name. Did your law school have that same, that same requirement?
At GW, where I taught, yes, you used a number rather than a name.
And why is that?
Because you want to be sure that your judgment about the quality of the exam is not based on your knowledge of the individual, but rather on the content of their answer.
And that's because there's certain students, right, that you don't like in your class, or that you have a
Never
a problem
in my class,
with.
sir.
Okay, but some professors, hypothetically, there are some professors who don't like some of their students.
They also may like somebody.
Or they may like somebody too much. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, so it's in order for us to make, for the professor to make an unbiased decision. Isn't that correct?
Absolutely.
Okay, so when under this proposed rule, and let's just speak hypothetically about any requirement to do this, would the contracting agent have the document in front of him or her that shows what those donations were?
It depends, sir. My understanding is that in some of the states that have pay-to-play laws, in fact, the contracting officials do not have the information. All they know is that the company affirms that it made the disclosure. So if you had that on the Federal level, all you would know is the company says, yes, we made all required disclosures. The contracting officer would see nothing about who received the money or how much.
Okay, but somebody would in the administration see that document, correct?
Oh, just as today there is already public information about contractors' disclosures. Absolutely.
Absolutely. And let's follow up on that comment. There's already public information, and you're telling us that you're an advocate of transparency, correct?
I am an advocate of transparency in procurement.
And it increases public trust.
That is always our hope.
So what is unavailable at this time that you think we need to have more information of that is not currently found in the public documents out there?
As actually several members of the committees pointed out, there is information about third-party donations which is not publicly disclosed today.
Okay. Now, does that have anything to do, were you an advocate or did you have a problem with Citizens United?
Sir, I'm a procurement person, not a campaign finance person.
No, but you must have an opinion. You were a law school professor.
I was a law school professor before I came into this job, before Citizens United was decided, and I was a professor of procurement law, sir.
And did you read the opinion of Citizens United?
I did not.
And you are aware that the administration has some problems with that opinion?
Yes, sir, I'm aware of that.
Okay. So let me just give you another hypothetical. If I am the procurement officer, one of the concepts that I was taught in law school is to make sure that in drafting legislation, you have to be really careful not to encourage future lawsuits when you're drafting legislation. So let's say we have a Republican, conservative, socially conservative administration. and we have one contractor who shows that he or she has donated thousands and thousands of dollars to the pro-life community, and you have another contractor who shows that he or she has donated thousands and thousands of dollars to a pro-choice or a pro-abortion community, and this Republican administration gives the contract to the person who did the pro-life, it gave the money to a pro-life community. Don't you think there might be a cause for a lawsuit? Because you are an expert in procurement law. Would there be a cause for a lawsuit here?
There are. You do have allegations. As I said, in my years, in the 17 years I was at GAO, we had a small number, I'm happy to say, but there were a few cases where there were allegations that political interference had caused the contract to go one way or the other. In my recollection, GAO found, when it did an independent investigation, it never found a basis for it to be true. But could a company have concern about that today already? Absolutely.
Okay, and let me ask you another hypothetical. If, okay, my time is up. Thank you very much.
Thank you.